Hank the Third, it is the Rock Nation, man. Appreciate you being on the show. I'm here with Stacy. He's our intern. He's a good guy, Hank. And talk about what's going on with your project since you last released them. Last time you talked on the show, you were on the show about a year, maybe a year and change ago.
Well, I put out the country record is Brothers of the 4x4, and I always do my best to pay my respects to the roots of country music. So I'll make sure there's a banjo and a stand-up steel, stand-up bass, acoustic guitars, all that stuff that you don't really hear in most country music nowadays. So I always pay respects to the roots. Had a special guest named Leroy Troy come out and play some clawhammer banjo, and then released a rock record called A Fiendish Threat. I've been doing that and just touring a good bit. And, I'm very hands-on the way that I make my records. I see the players through the whole process, doing all the engineering, mixing, and mastering. And so it's a very grassroots, old-school way that I kind of record.
And speaking of some of the players on there, I know you sang, play guitar, and did drums for both of those. Can you talk about some of the other players on there?
Yes, Leroy, he's more of a purist. He's like a mountain shouter, kind of old-time singer. So the song Possum in a Tree definitely has a little bit of the more old-school feel to it. And you got guys like Johnny Highland, who's doing a bunch of the amazing chicken-picking guitar style on the record. Andy Gibson was doing the stand-up steel guitar work. So David McElfresh did an amazing job on stepping up and playing fiddle, because the way that I record, I don't copy and paste and edit solos together. I do it like, you play your instrument and we'll do it until you do it right. So a lot of engineers nowadays will take a snippet from this section and paste it to this other section and piece a solo together, where my guys play a lot more from the heart.
And on A Fiendish Threat, that's really unique as far as like a punk record goes, because it doesn't sound like your normal punk record. You're playing acoustic guitar, there's some fiddle and steel guitar in there. What can fans expect from that if they haven't heard it yet?
Well, it's just different. I think the Doghouse bass is what really sets it apart and gives it a little more of a different sound, and it's not necessarily the psychobilly stuff that's happening out there a lot right now. So it's one of those records that's more of to me, it was a record paying respects to all the heroes that gave me inspiration in that style of music. So there's a lot of different feels throughout the record and a lot of different sounds to the people I was growing up with. So both of the records came very smooth, and it wasn't like I was pulling teeth. It was definitely a challenge to record some of those songs off of A Fiendish Threat, because I'm playing acoustic and singing at the same time, and doing that before the drums are in place. It's a pretty challenging task to get it dialed in with the click. It's a burner when it comes to the right hand and the shoulders and all that stuff. It's one that'll make you flex up before you know it.
We're talking with Hank the Third. He's online at hank3.com. It's hank3.com. He's on doing a short tour, rolling now through about October the 6th. Unfortunately, not real close in our place, but he took a few minutes to talk to the Rock Nation as usual. People haven't seen you, Hank, and I know Stacy has, and he told me it's one of the most fabulous shows. Tell me what so you can hear it and tell Hank directly what you thought about his live show.
Well, last time I got to see it was on the Straight to Hell tour at the Canopy Club. And it was 3 hours of just an amazing show. I mean, you went up there, you did your your country set, then the Hellbilly set, and then you went up there and did the metal set. It was just incredible. Very high energy, a lot of fun.
Can fans still expect that kind of thing as you're out on the road once again?
Yeah, keep in mind, even though it's a short tour, 15 of my shows in reality is like 50 shows for the crew and the mind and the body. So we're averaging about 4 to 4.5 hours a night. The first 2 hours is country. Then we do the Hellbilly sound and the Fiendish Threat sound for about 30 minutes. Then the lights go dark and the movie comes on, and it's the doom sludge rock part of the show. That's the attention deficit domination. And at the very end of the night, we put on the bandanas come out, the cowboy hat comes back out, and we do 3-bar ranch. And that's kind of power metal and speed metal on top of Cattle Auctioneers. So it's basically like 4 different bands, 4 different moods, and a lot of people are saying, man, it's more of an experience, the Hank 3 experience, than it is a show. So, you know, some people come out and hang out through the whole night, and some people only want to see, you know, the first 2 hours. So I offer a little bit of everything for the folks who are coming out. And, you know, I always fight hard to play for the cheapest ticket price that I can, and to be around at the end of the night and say hello to whoever might want to say hey. So we always try to pay our respects in every way we can.
Awesome, man. And I just have one more quick question for you, because you do cover a lot of genres. What's the writing process like for you? Like, you know, do you find a little time to write the country stuff here, and then you come back and, okay, we're going to do some doom stuff here? Or do they just, the songs come to you and you compile them as you go? Or how does that process work?
It's a little different. I usually do it by instrument, like especially on my drums. It takes me a while to get my rhythm back in time to where it really needs to be, so I'll focus on just doing the drums for 2 weeks and doing the vocals for a week, or the guitar. But I do kind of bounce all over the place. The way that I write songs in the country world is, you know, I sing off the top of my head, then I go back and write down what I like when I'm writing a country song. When I'm writing a rock song, it's more the riff is what's important first, and the vocals are the last thing. So it's kind of backwards. But, you know, sometimes out of the blue, a song will jump up and grab me, like Crazed Country Rebel is one of the few songs that I wrote without a guitar in my hand, and it just kind of came to me, and it is what it is. So, but I'm always trying different styles. I'm always, you know, approaching different levels of creativity and what I do with it.
Hank, tell them where you can keep track of you on your website and where you can shop for all your merch at.
Well, if you're into collecting vinyl records, or you want the CDs or any of that stuff, or the Hell Betty calendars, Hank 3, just hank3.com is the best place to go to see where we're at, if we're touring, or if you just want to, you know, check in what's new with us. So that's the place to go. Or you can always check us out on Facebook. You know, I got a Facebook page, and my guy does a pretty good job on keeping the fans connected, and it's another way people can keep up with us.
He's Hank 3. He's online at hank3.com. Appreciate you taking the time talking to the Rock Nation, man.
Anytime, guys. Hopefully we'll see you sooner than later.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.